Are you looking for an employer that will work with you, provide steady pay, and treat you like the asset you are? Steyr Transportation has built trusted relationships with drivers and clients for over 50 years. When you drive for Steyr, you get company-paid health and dental, bonuses for safe driving, regular home time, and a company-matched 401k. Plus, new hires get a $1,500 sign-on bonus. If you have a Class A license, apply now at SteyrTrans.com. That's STYER Trans.com. Steyr Transportation, since 1966.
Tonight, Michael Brown joins me here.
He's the former FEMA director.
Talk show host Michael Brown.
Brownie. Now.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
The Situation with Michael Brown.
You're a political expert.
On 630 KHOW.
People in the Speaker's house. I've seen photos in the chairman's, in the Speaker's chair, in the well of the House of Representatives. Clearly doesn't look like a MAGA person to me, but, we'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to do right now, though, is Joe Biden is speaking, and I assume he's speaking about the riots. So let's go to Joe Biden.
Later, we are watching this.
I've delayed coming out to speak to you. I initially was going to talk about the economy, but all of you have been watching what I've been watching. At this hour, our democracy is under an unprecedented assault, unlike anything we've seen in modern times. An assault on the citadel of liberty, the Capitol itself. An assault on the people's representatives and the Capitol Hill police, sworn to protect them, and the public servants who work at the heart of our republic. An assault on the rule of law like few times we've ever seen it. An assault on the most sacred of American undertakings, the doing of the people's business. Let me be very clear. The scenes of chaos at the Capitol do not reflect a true America, do not represent who we are. What we're seeing are a small number of extremists dedicated to lawlessness. This is not dissent. It's disorder. It's chaos. It borders on sedition. And it must end now. I call on this mob to pull back and allow the work of democracy to go forward. You've heard me say before in different contexts, the words of a president matter, no matter how good or bad that president is. At their best, the words of a president can inspire. At their worst, they can incite.
Okay, let's pause right there. I knew he was going to go there. I knew that Joe Biden would go to that point. Now let's step back for a moment. Let's step back from all of the emotion. Let's step back from everybody is going to their respective sides. Everybody is going to their corners. Everybody's blood pressure is up. Everybody is on edge right now. But let me tell you something. You cannot, listen to me carefully, because this is going to piss off some Trump supporters, and other Trump supporters will agree with it, just like some Biden supporters will be pissed off, and some Biden supporters will agree with what I say. But I'm going to go right down the middle here. And the middle is this. We don't know. As a person who has walked into the middle of utter chaos, you don't know until you've gotten into the middle of the chaos, sometimes 24 hours later, sometimes 2 or 3 days later. Do you know who is the root of that chaos? Now, many people will try to lay it at the feet of Donald Trump. I listened to Trump's speech today as I was doing show prep, which is obviously still in my bag because I don't need to pull it out. He talked about marching on Capitol Hill. an absolutely protected activity under the First Amendment. And so those within the MAGA group that were there, I forget what they were calling the rally, those people who were there were marching on the Capitol as they have a right to do to express their dissatisfaction with how the government is operating, how the federal government and the state governments are running. Some of those people that are Trump supporters may indeed have conducted unlawful activities. And if they did, I hope they are arrested and they're prosecuted. But let's be real. It is as likely, if not even more likely, that what we saw were agents provocateurs going through that were Black Lives Matter, Antifa, or God knows what organizations. Any number of organizations, foreign or domestic, that could have infiltrated that group because they knew this was their opportunity to do two things. In the midst of a protest, create chaos, and then use the chaos that they create to then storm into the Capitol, commit acts of vandalism and violence, to cause the U.S. Capitol Police to literally barricade the doors into the well of the United States House of Representatives and pull their Glock 9mm out and point them at the door. They knew precisely what they were doing. And there was no question in my mind. And remember, I've said that some of these people could also be Trump supporters. But it is more likely, in my opinion, and I'm keeping an open mind, I want them all prosecuted. I want every single one of them prosecuted. I don't mind if somebody wants to walk up to the steps of the Capitol and protest and have a sit-in. I'm a child of the 60s. You want to protest? You want to block the entrance to the Capitol until they have to, put the plastic bands around your wrist and haul your butt down to the paddy wagon and haul you off? Have at it, sister. Have at it. Go do it. But when you start breaking into the offices, you've crossed the line. And when the putative next president of the United States of America goes on the air and somehow tries to shift all of this to Donald Trump, that's where I lose it. Because that son of a bitch didn't say anything during the ongoing riots in Portland and Seattle and Chicago and Detroit and Denver and all over the country. No, they were quite happy for that to occur. They were quite happy for Chaz and Chop and whatever else the crap it was called to go on forever. The destruction of private property. They were quite happy for that to happen. So what we need to do now is recognize that there may indeed be some psyops going on, and that we cannot jump to conclusions like Joe Biden just did and say, oh yeah, these are Trump supporters doing this. Could be. But I'm not willing to bet the ranch on it. I'm not willing to bet the undisclosed location that this is a bunch of MAGA supporters that have done this. I might be willing to bet part of the undisclosed location that indeed it is agents provocateurs. And I don't care. You can call me a nut job, but I don't limit it to just domestic agent provocateurs. We have to recognize there are countries in this world that want to see us die and collapse in chaos. Is ABC still on, Ryan?
I have his speech paused right where you left it.
Okay, let's go on. Let's go back to it.
And therefore, I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege, to storm the Capitol, to smash windows, to occupy offices.
I'm sorry, pause it again a minute. It'll take us till
I'll have it.
9 o'clock tonight
That's
to get
fine.
through this speech.
That's fine.
He calls on the president to go on national television to disavow these people that we don't even know. This is almost like the good people on both sides, except it's the inverse. Biden is making a big-ass assumption that none of these people are his people, that none of these people are from his tribe, that none of these people are Democrats or agitators or Antifa or BLM or the Chinese commies or whoever else it might be. He wants to make the assumption because it's to his political advantage to lay all of the blame on Trump supporters. I'm not going to allow that. And I'd renew my question. Where the hell were any of the Democrats, let alone Joe Biden? Where was Nancy Pelosi? Where was Kamala Harris? Where was Amy Klobuchar? Where was Bernie Sanders? Where were all of those candidates? Where were those Democrat mayors? Those Democrat governors? As all of this violence and destruction was going on around the country over the past couple of years. Because we know for a fact that those were BLM and Antifa protesters. That is factually true. We don't know the facts right now of who these people are. You can continue.
The floor of the United States Senate, rummaging through desks, on the Capitol, on the House of Representatives, threatening the safety of duly elected officials. It's not protest, it's insurrection. The world's watching. Like so many other Americans, I am genuinely shocked and saddened that our nation, so long the beacon of light and hope for democracy, has come to such a dark moment. Through war and strife, America's endured much. And we will endure here, and we will prevail again, and will prevail now. The work of the moment and the work of the next 4 years must be the restoration of democracy, of decency, honor, respect, the rule of law, just plain, simple decency. The renewal of the politics. It's about solving problems, looking out for one another, not stoking the flames of hate and chaos. As I said, America is about honor, decency, respect, tolerance. That's who we are. That's who we've always been.
All right, Ryan, pause it a moment. Isn't it fascinating that a guy who we know factually is taking money from the Chinese Communist Party, a guy that we know for a fact, his son, was taking money from a corrupt oil and gas company in Ukraine, coming from a guy that we know who's never held a real job in his entire life, has become a multimillionaire while serving in the United States Senate almost as long as I've been alive. And now he calls for decency. Now he calls for honor and respect and following the rule of law. I'm not advocating at all that we not follow the rule of law. But the hypocrisy is just like somebody stuffing, it's like somebody waterboarding me right now. I'm choking on it. I'm choking on the hypocrisy of these people who now come out before any facts are known and laying blame at the